Hi, my name is Isabella Johnston, the Intern Whisperer. Our show is brought to you by Employers for Change, and today's tip of the week is still the continuing series that we have on unconscious bias. This week, we're going to talk about ageism. Ageism in the workplace is the tendency to have negative feelings about another person based on their age. It affects older people more than younger people. About 2/3 of workers aged 50 and over believe older employees face discrimination because of their age. The later employees are in their career, the more difficult it is to change careers, find a job, or move up in their careers because employers tend to value younger talent, even though experience and expertise are critical skills for any successful business. So, how can we avoid ageism? To avoid it in the workplace, you want to train your team members to understand the issue of ageism and debunk some of the myths about workers of different ages. Your company should also create a policy that prevents age bias, along with hiring goals to keep age diversity top of mind when recruiting new talent. And as a reminder, everybody gets older, and we should all care about this particular. I want to welcome Caris Baker to my show this week. I'm really excited about having her. I've known her for a while. I know her through game jams, and also because she works with Unity and they do great work, and they sponsor our podcast, not a podcast, sorry, our game jams at OMG Labs and Indienomicon. So she is a senior technical artist with Unity Technologies. She is, I call her a community builder, but she is also somebody that is very active in the community that brings awareness to games and just making fun stuff fun, that's educational. She is in the game development industry and a graduate from Full Sail that was also a Hall of Fame inductee, and we're going to learn more about what that is. Okay, so welcome to the show.
Thank you, Isabella. Thank you for having me.
Oh, I'm so excited. I've been wanting this for a while. Okay, so let's talk about 5 words that describe you and then why those 5 words. We always kick off the show like that.
Okay. I am a believer. I'm a family person.
Mm-hmm.
An artist. I'm a technical artist.
Mm-hmm.
I'm an entrepreneur, and I'm a public speaker.
Okay, so let's go through. We'll unpack those. Believer, that's the most important one. Let's do that one first.
Absolutely. Yeah, I have to give everything that I have today to my Lord and Savior, because I wouldn't be here without him. And the older I get, the more obvious that is to me. The further away I get from it, the more clear it is that I cannot be anywhere but acknowledging the work that God has done in my life.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to make sure that everybody knows that, because it would not be being completely transparent if I wasn't.
Yep, super important. Believe it. Family person. How so?
Everything that I do is because of my family. I have photos of my family behind me. I have my photos of my family on my table here. My parents, my brother, my sister-in-law, my husband, his family, my in-laws, my sister-in-laws and brother-in-laws, my nieces and nephews. They are absolutely the most important to me. And my cats.
Hey, they're family. Pets are family.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I love them with all my heart, and I just want to make them proud all the time.
Mm-hmm. They're
And
hard to make proud sometimes.
I really am blessed because I have the 2 greatest parents in the whole world. And I have a wonderful relationship with my family. I love them so much, my in-laws too. And they're really proud of me, and they let me know. And my husband as well. He's the most proud of me.
Oh my gosh, yeah, I've seen it on social feeds. Yeah, I know it's true that he is your biggest fan.
That's the absolute truth.
Even more than your parents.
I think so. I really do.
Yeah. So, technical artist. You'll have to explain that to our listeners, because they may not know what Full Sail is, and they may not probably know what being a Hall of Fame inductee is. So
yeah. So when I was a kid, I really wanted to be an artist. And as I grew up and I became a student, I went to school. at Full Sail, and I wanted to be a computer animator. And I really didn't know what that was. I wasn't really big into computer animating before I went to school. But I learned at Full Sail about programming and about computer softwares like Maya and ZBrush. And I learned about scripting, and I learned about Unity. I learned about Unreal. And that kind of led me on a path, because I was kind of the kid growing up where everything kind of came easy to me. But when I hit a wall with technical artistry, I was angry about it. Um, I don't know if that makes sense, but like
It
when I
does.
didn't get
I
it
relate.
immediately, it made me mad. And I remember asking my teacher to fail me multiple times because I didn't get it. I got like a C or a D, I don't remember, but it wasn't enough for me. It's not that I wanted the grade, it's that it was evidence that I didn't understand it the way that I needed to.
Mm.
And I had failed things before and I didn't mind, but this one I really cared about. And so I chose to fail those classes, and I
Oh
was
my
allowed
gosh.
to back then. And so I took it, I think 3 times. It was a specific class about, TA stuff, rigging and scripting and Mel scripting and Python. And I ended up passing it with a better grade. And that thirst for knowledge that I had back then carried me past my graduation date and into my career. And I remember someone that I respect very much sat me down and explained to me that I was probably a technical artist, and these are the things that I should be doing if I wanted to grow in these areas. And I'm very grateful for that. So today I'm a senior technical artist at Unity, which is insane to me. It's a dream job that I didn't have on my list because I never thought it would be possible. And I try to explain it to people like getting a job at Unity is like getting a job at Adobe if I stayed a digital artist my whole
Mm-hmm.
life. But now I'm more than just a digital artist. I'm a video game artist. I'm a technical artist, and now this is a company that makes the program that I work in, bringing me on their team and acknowledging my skills. It was a huge moment for me.
Mm-hmm.
You mentioned Full Sail.
Yeah.
What did it mean? That's a whole. I got the call.
It's an honor. I mean, I didn't go to
Yeah.
Full Sail, and my listeners may not know about Full Sail. And I know we're skipping over some stuff. Coming
Maybe
back, listeners.
we pause on the Hall of Fame stuff, because that was like that just happened a few months ago. I'm still reeling from it.
Yeah.
I'm still
Processing.
recovering from it.
Yeah.
um, so yeah, the technical art stuff. I'm an artist and I'm a programmer, and my job is to make sure that the people on the right and left of my part in the game art pipeline are taken care of. So I do a little bit in the programming side, do a little bit in the art side, and I make sure things communicate, talk, and connect. So I implement, I design, I do user interface, user experience, pretty much anything that they need that is a problem, needs to be solved. I'm in there with the art side, with the programming side, trying to make it work.
Mm.
That's what I
Very
think a
good.
technical artist is. And there's a lot of definitions for a technical artist, but that's where I fit on the spectrum.
Yeah. And every company might have definitely different ways of addressing that for sure.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, definitely is.
And entrepreneur was the next word, right?
So I did not know you had a business. So I'm really interested in learning more about your business. So hopefully you're going
Thanks.
to talk a little bit more about it.
I would love to. It's my favorite thing. So I'll probably speak more on this a little bit later, but
Mm-hmm.
my current focus is to sell arcade cabinets, which contain the video game that myself and a few other people have been working on for the past 7 years.
Wow.
But listen, like 2.5 of those don't even count. Sorry about that. 2.5 of those don't even count because uh, the pandemic happened and we completely halted all development. So we focused on our day jobs. I was a technical artist at an engineering firm at the time, and we were focusing on bringing our virtual reality tools onto a more at-home accessible format so that we could continue to bring our good work to our employees, to our audience, which was our engineers. And so we completely halted all production for like 2 years. So I just want to say that. So like let's say 5 years. Yeah. So back in 2016, I was approached by my now business partner Brian Stabile to work on a video game called Highlight Heroes, and I'd said I'd give him 3 weeks, and it's been 7 years.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, but to be fair, the 3 weeks that I told him, I was like, I know that I can get this product to a showable state in 3 weeks, because that's what I had been doing in my career. I was taking prototypes and I was beautifying them, and I was looking at them from an art director's perspective and really quickly bringing them up to a standard. So that includes the logo, the user interface, character animations, special effects, like anything that needed to be done, environment art, in 3 weeks. And that was like my thing. And I was constantly churning out work. And my whole thing was that I wanted to have published titles so that I could make a name for myself. So I was constantly working and just really, really burning the candle at both ends during that period of my life. And so this is the one, and there were others, that this was the one that really kind of took shape and gathered some steam. And so we started talking about indie arcade stuff. And indie arcade is like, okay, so this is a whole different topic, but I just wanted to mention our indie arcade is the most punk rock thing that you can do in the game development industry today, in my opinion, because it's a grassroots like effort to get your game to take to catch fire,
Yes.
and that's the coolest thing that I've ever seen. I was really enamored with it. I'm inspired by games like Killer Queen and Bumble Bear. My friends Nick and Josh over at Bumble Bear, they really inspired me. I watched one GDC talk and I knew about the game, but I had no idea the breadth and the depth and the way that it began. It began as a field game, and I just thought that was the most pure form of game development I had ever seen in today's industry. And today you just put things out on the eShop and just hope that they work out. But this was something different. This was something special. So my business partner and I really wanted to be a part of it. So after the pandemic was over, our friend Neil Hernandez picked up the task of bringing it to a prototype, building it with his own 2 hands, like going to Home Depot and picking up wood. They didn't have black wood, so he got white wood. And he's the one that had the vision of making it white with hot pink, because he was imagining, Don Johnson in Miami Vice with the white suit. So a year later, we presented our prototype cabinet at Free Play Florida. And yeah, it's been crazy ever since. We have 7 units in the world right now, and we've made sales. We have units in Fort Lauderdale. We have units in Jacksonville, and we're continually making new cabinets. We're heading for a manufacturing deal. We have some sponsorship opportunities. We have a partnership opportunity that we're really excited about, and things couldn't be going better. We have merchandise. You can go to astrocrow.com/store and you can pick up
So
some
how do
merch.
we spell this?
Yeah. We actually rebranded as a recommendation by our dear friends at Arcadeaholics. Nobody could spell or say anything related to Highlight. Highlight is a specifically Florida sport. It's an old sport that nobody knows about anymore.
That's true.
And it's very much, this whole game is a love letter to Florida. And so they recommended to make it more accessible, that we rebrand, and we did. And we announced the rebrand. So it's called Throwback Highlight Heroes. And we kept the original name as a tagline because it sounds so good. It rolls off the tongue. So Throwback Highlight Heroes, throwback, and then Highlight is JAI-ALAI, and then the word heroes.
Okay, I'm typing it right now. JAI-ALI.
ALAI.
ALAI.
Alai. Yeah, it is a Basque word. And the Basque region of Spain is the region that borders France and Spain. So that language, the Basque language, is influenced by both French and Spanish.
Mm. So throwback highlight with a dash and highlight. What's the rest of it?
Heroes.
Heroes with an ES.com.
Oh, that's the name of the game. But what I was spelling out was astrocrow.com/store.
Okay, well, I'm going to go look at some point here.
You can just go to astrocrow.com and you'll see the links and the stuff. I put the website together myself with the help of my business partner. So
Gotcha. So, well, that sounds good. I'm definitely going to go and, like I said, look it up. And I'm putting it in the show description when I'm actually putting it out there too. So like I'm kind of writing down some of the stuff that we're talking about. So it goes in the show description and we have hyperlinks and all of that good stuff.
perfect. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, astrocrow.com is our website. It'll let you know everything that you need to know about what's going on with our arcade cabinet. It is a 2v2 experience. It is a ball sport. It is basically fancy Pong, but all of the character design, all the environments, all the UI, the logo design, everything is my own artwork, especially the exterior. I'm very, very proud of the exterior of the unit. Because we're in the furniture business now. We're designing furniture. So the every cab is freshly cut by our friends, Neil and his team, Joey of GameHog Customs. And I just couldn't be prouder of them. They're just so incredible.
It's always nice to give shout outs for people.
Yeah.
Because then and that encourages them to also go listen to the episode because they feel valued. Because
of course. And as they should be. Joey also does all of our print work. So anything that's been printed out that that we're signing for you, you see signage or whatever. He also made our tablecloth and a bunch of other stuff. We're really excited. We're going to, or we will have already have gone to by the time this is out, Southern Fried Gaming Expo in Atlanta in August. So that's our next event.
Very, very nice.
Very
Congratulations. Those are big accomplishments.
Thanks. I really appreciate that. So that was the entrepreneur part. There's a second part to being an entrepreneur, if you'll let me. I wanted to be a artist when I was a kid. You remember that part? Yeah. I remember telling somebody, it wasn't my parents, it was like an adult that I liked when I was a kid. They said, what do you want to be when you grow up? And I said, I want to be a street artist. Because I was so enamored by caricature artists that's what I wanted to do. And I remember they said, well, you should probably aim higher. And I don't condone that statement whatsoever. So much so that as I became an adult, I was like, you know what, forget that. This is what I want to do. So I pursued being a caricature artist. This is post-graduation. And I said, I'm going to make this happen. So now I have Caris Captures, which is a live digital portrait business. I do weddings and Christmas parties and
photography work.
Caricature art.
Oh
yeah, digital portraits, drawing people.
Wow.
And I have people sit in front of me. I'll draw them really quickly. I'll plug in like a thing so that someone can watch on the TV and then just get it done. I haven't done it in a few years, but this is how I evolved it. Someone asked me to do a charity stream, and I had been a streamer hobbyist for a little while, so I had a streaming account and they knew that I did. So they asked me to do like an extra life stream for this little girl who had kidney cancer.
Mm.
And I said, well, yes, of course. And I said, you know what? And I'll do you one better. I decided to do a Twitch stream where I drew on Twitch, and then I had people donate to her, to her, her GoFundMe as the payment for the caricature. And I was drawing for 2 weeks straight because I had like a backlog of people who had donated.
Wow.
And so I was on stream every single night drawing people, like 5 or 6 people a night.
Wow.
And what was fun was that they would tune in, they would watch themselves get drawn, and then they would, tell their friends and stuff, and it would keep the donations rolling. And then I continued that with other people, and that was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed doing that.
Hmm.
And now it's more of a commission thing where you DM me on Instagram, and I'll draw your picture. So
You
there
know
you
what?
go.
That's really interesting because I think I want to bring you in when we do the game jams. And I think that when people want a break, they can go and get a character done.
I
So
would love that.
yeah, it's September. It's coming up. We have, by the way, 6 back to back at
I
OMG Labs.
I remember you telling me that. I am very impressed. That's going to be so much fun. I would love to do that. In fact, someone asked me what would I would do if I was, I found myself exorbitantly wealthy suddenly. Would I keep my job? What would I do? And I think that my answer was I would continue drawing people, even if I'd probably keep my job, honestly, because I think back then I didn't have the job I have now, but I would always continue to draw people because my favorite thing is when you rotate the paper and you see the person's face light up.
Mm,
Hopefully they like it. They usually do. They usually do. But
very
that
nice.
little moment of joy is the only reason why you get that kind of thing done, right? The little reveal moment and then the laugh or the smile that happens afterward is everything to me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So I'm not sure what time we started, but I know we took a while before we started. So I'm just making sure. Oh yeah, how long are we going? I want to go to the Hall of Fame and being
Mm.
an inductee. Talk about that. And our listeners don't know any of that.
Yeah, absolutely. I still can't believe it. But basically what's happening with that is that I graduated from Full Sail University, and there's a lot of people that graduate from Full Sail University, but every year they nominate and induct. A lot of people are nominated, only a few people are voted on, and the people who get voted in are inducted, and they induct them in this like crazy ceremony that just happened for me last April. So yeah, every year since 2009, I think they've held this Hall of Fame. So there's quite a few of us now. And I was the biggest nerd for Hall of Fame for whatever reason. I just thought it was the coolest thing. So every year, they make it a big like block party for the students for all week long, with all kinds of fun events. And we the Hall of Famers and other speakers would come in and give you like advice and demonstrations and workshops that you wouldn't get otherwise. It's just like just slam packed week. And I met some of the coolest people throughout my time as a student, as an alumni coming back. So I got the call that I was going to be receiving an envelope, and I don't want to reveal too much about like how they do it, and they do it differently for every person. So
Mhm.
they tell everybody differently. But I wept tears of joy. There was a certificate.
It's like a red carpet event.
Yeah, it definitely was. I encourage you to check it out on YouTube. They have the whole ceremony online
Oh,
recorded.
wow.
I had an acceptance speech, and that the week of Hall of Fame, I think I had 7 speaking engagements that I was doing, different talks on Unity, on being a technical artist. I did a special one that I really love about specifically pixel art and pixel art animation. And we did a talk on the virtual production stage at Full Sail.
Mm-hmm.
Um, just all kinds of crazy stuff. And then, of course, there was the induction ceremony, which was I I was trying to pinch myself the whole time. I didn't believe I was there.
Yeah.
Uh, it was crazy. It was like, yeah, I can do this. I do public speaking all the time. But then you put, all your friends and family and all the people that you respect in the seats in front of you. It's
Hmm.
a completely different story. I was shaking in my boots. And I told a lot of people this, I'll tell you. It felt like a roller coaster in the most pure sense of the word, because it's like from the time that I found out to the April, it was like I was going up a hill, like right. And as you're going up a hill on a roller coaster, you're like, okay, this is great. All right, this is high enough. Okay, you can put me down now. Like, is there any more? I don't know. As you start screaming. That Sunday was like anxiety central. I was all jitters. I couldn't think straight. And then Monday happened. That was like the cresting of the hill where
Hmm.
you're looking over, you're like tilted down. You're like, ah, like you're expecting this big week ahead of you. And then it was just like, speed and loop-de-loops and barrel rolls for the rest of the time. It was a ton of fun. A lot
Gotcha.
of people who I love, a lot of people who love me, and it was absolutely more attention than anybody should ever get in their entire lives. So
Hmm. It sounds
it
it sounds fun though. It sounds
was
like
a lot of fun.
it's a lot of fun. It's the coolest thing that probably a person can happen that's, in their career path. So
Yeah.
congratulations. It's a big deal. Yeah.
Thank you. Still can't believe it. I'm still reeling. I have the trophy on my mantle and I look at it all the time. I'm like, where did that come from?
Well, we're going back to our questions here. Okay, so we're going to go kind of a little bit faster here.
Okay.
Favorite quote that you live by?
Fail fast for all the fun.
That sounds like it
Mhm.
came from one of those movies that's out there. Ooh, the one that, gosh, what is that movie? The one where they race and the guy died. What's his name?
Fast and the Furious.
Yes, it sounds like a Fast and the Furious type of a quote.
Yeah.
Fail
I
fast,
mean,
fall forward.
yeah. It was it was in a GDC talk at one point, and it really
Yeah.
latched on with me because I was not doing as well as I could be. Like I just kept trying to get ahead and I kept failing. And when I realized, like, I can use failure as a tool to get me
Hmm.
further than I would if I chase perfectionism,
Yeah.
because perfectionism is a goalpost that's always going away from you into the horizon you'll never catch. But failure's right there. And
It's
then
how
every
we
failure,
learn, though. You know
exactly.
that, Karis. You know that.
Every failure comes with a lesson. So
Yeah.
if I'm going to see if this works. I'm going to try this. I'm going to just do it anyway. Like very much like, um, just,
Scientists.
yeah, I'm gonna just check it out. Just see what um, and then rapid iteration. If it didn't work, try something else. Um,
Hmm.
Taking an iterative approach to my career, my life. And it seems to have worked so far.
Yep. Yep, it does. It does. What are you most grateful for?
I um that I'm grateful for so much. What am I most grateful for?
Yeah.
I'm most grateful for my relationship with my creator, and it is very personal to me. Um, it's something that I wouldn't be able to go forward without acknowledging, because that encompasses everything. I'm grateful for my relationship with my husband. I'm grateful for the opportunities that I've been given that have led me here. I'm grateful for the people that I've met. I'm grateful for the time that people have given me to grow my skills. I'm grateful for those opportunities. Like I was given uh more than maybe I should have been given, because I really put myself out there. 80% of success is showing up, you know?
Hmm.
I attended the things. I went directly to someone's door. I showed up. I put forth the effort. And because of that effort, people took a chance on me. And after
Hmm.
the people took a chance on me, I took that and I did something with it, right? Um, but if they had never given me the chance, then I wouldn't be where I am today.
Yep. And
So
every single one of those mistakes was always, or the failures, whatever a person wants to call them, are always a way that we remember that sometimes we don't learn right away. And sometimes it has nothing to do with how fast we learn. It's really about the journey of
yeah,
what do you get out of the opportunity to learn.
literally.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm grateful for the people at 0.3D for giving me a chance, hiring me as their first artist in their small business. I'm grateful for AstroCrow Games and Brian Stabile taking a chance on me, believing in my artwork, and actually being a fan of my artwork and liking what I do to the point where he didn't give up on me, no matter how many times I let him down. Um, I'm grateful for Chad Hoover, who hired me to work on artwork for his board game, and believed in my artwork and really wanted to put my artwork at a forefront, and was patient with me and kind with me. Because I'm not a perfect person, and I forget things, and I am a procrastinator, and I there are things that I have failed on, and I think that if my failure resume was written, it would be longer than my actual resume. Um, Projects that didn't work out, projects that um, didn't come to fruition, things that weren't successful, and I that there are games that I worked on that never saw the light of day. There are games that I
Mhm.
worked on that did, and they maybe have sat in the Steam library for a very long time, and that was it. I'm still grateful for every single one of those. Very, very grateful. And I wish that I could call everybody out. I'm grateful to Unity for giving me the opportunities that they did. I'm grateful to Anthony Davis for picking me out. I'm grateful for Katrina Green for telling Anthony Davis to think of me. Grateful to Lee Wood for believing in me and making sure that I knew that I was good enough to get that job at Unity. Um, and the list goes on. It really does. I know that there are more people in my road than I've said here,
Oh
and someone's
gosh,
going to remind
we
me.
we don't have that kind of time, right? To
No, we
acknowledge
don't.
every
And
person.
I'm stressing out trying to figure it all out. But I'm gonna give the floor back to you, Isabella.
Ah, thanks. So we're gonna go with, what do you want to be remembered for in life?
Oh boy, that's golly. That is a big one. Geez. I listen, I want to be the person that made an impact. And the only way that I can make an impact is with the skills that I have. And the skills that I have are video game art skills
Mhm.
that can be applied to more real world things like simulation, like innovation, computer vision, artificial intelligence. And that's what I want to be remembered for, is somebody who didn't let the perception of being an artist keep her from making an impact on things that mattered to her.
You got it. So but I also know when we were talking before, solving problems in the real world. And I
Yes.
love that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Short and sweet side of it.
Want to solve problems and make an impact in the real world.
Yep. So we're going to take a little break and we're going to go acknowledge our sponsor, Transcend Network, and we will be right back.
Transcend Network helps early stage startup founders find product market fit through weekly experiments, receive fundraising support, and build a global founder investor network for edtech and the future of work technologies. The Intern Whisperer is affiliated with Employers for Change, and we thank Transcend Network for being a sponsor of our show.
We're back in the second half of our show where we talk about, what does 2030 look like? So what do you think it's going to look like?
I've given this a lot of thought because it's kind of comes with the territory and the industry I'm in. And there's a lot of future focused people. And I like to consider myself one of those people. I think that we're going to reach the future that we're imagining much sooner I know we're going to have one thing, and that's going to be, we're going to have our wearable augmented reality glasses that
Okay.
are going to have our personalizable social medias around our person. And then there's going to be a giant disparity of wealth between the people who have that world and the people who don't.
Yep.
And I think that disparity of wealth is going to create a rejection of that sort of future. And we're going to reach back into our more simple lives. We're seeing a little bit of this now, and I think it's going to get more intense.
Mhm.
I think that we're going to have very simple home lives, where we focus more on the everyday, the daily, the sustainable. We're not going to be doing as much constant technology. We're going to be doing things that are more kitschy and more homey. And then we might have the supplementation of our artificial intelligence applications that help us do things like make grocery lists. And then we're going to have our Amazon overlords potentially delivering us things on drones. I know that that's a popular one. I don't think we're ever going to get there. I think that
I
there's
don't
too
know.
many people that are going to shoot them down, and it's going to be a cost. I think we're probably going to have driverless vehicles for sure.
Oh yeah.
And then I definitely see warehouses that people can drive up into, get their car loaded with the thing that they already purchased on their app, and then drive away. So rather than our big box stores, or maybe with our big box stores, our Walmarts or Big Lots, whatever. Big Lots, where'd that come from? Our Walmarts and our Targets, you're gonna get a current version of what we have now, drive up, get our car loaded with stuff, and drive away. And all completely automated, very little human interaction, like a giant vending machine. That's what I'm imagining.
So there's a show I want you to go and watch. It's on Netflix. It's called The Future of,
Mm-hmm.
and definitely watch it. It breaks down what it will be looking like, and the homes of the future are made more out of plant materials, and it's vertical. We're going way higher. They talk about growing not growing our own food. We would have the ability to have, grow our own food, but it is also being made in a 3D printer so that it is like what we would want. Where our clothes are 3D. Everything, it is a much smaller footprint than what we ever imagined, because they talked about bringing grass inside too, because all of the environment will have a need to have more oxygen in it, and how we can do that. It's so interesting. And when you were talking, I was going, wow, I think you've seen that episode, because
I haven't.
I think you should see it. Yeah, because I
Okay.
think it's going to tie in with a lot of what you're predicting there. They did talk about quite a bit
Yeah.
of
And
things.
on that note, part of my vision for 2030 is definitely at-home hydroponics.
Yep.
I think that is going to be even larger than it is now.
Mhm.
I've invested in it myself. I'm very excited about it. And I think that having food at home and having hydroponic systems accessible at home is what we need to combat the future of
There's going to be a
potential
shortage of food. Yeah.
food shortages
Yeah.
and a difficulty with our farming. And
I'll be sad because I like going to the grocery store. I'm not going to lie.
it's probably my least favorite thing. Sorry, Isabella. I don't enjoy the grocery store. I'm so excited to never have to go to a grocery store again. That is
Too
where
many
I'm at.
choices. Is that why?
I think that, yeah, I do better with, just being able to drive up and then put my bags in my car. Just
Mm-hmm.
because I will go there hungry and I will buy more than I need. And, that's a me problem.
Yeah.
But I think they're really banking on that. They design those things so that certain things look delicious, and they do look delicious. So you get there and you smell them, and then it's game over.
Yeah. The
And
deli, right?
yeah, I'm a sucker for the deli counter.
Oh my God. Yeah. So much so.
I can be more efficient, and I can be more succinct in my orders, if I can't see or smell anything and I know what I want and I know what I'm going to use and those things, and it reduces food waste because I'm not going to be like, oh, I'm going to have guacamole. I never have guacamole. I never have guacamole. Why would I keep trying?
You
I
don't
really
eat
like
guacamole?
I like it, but do I make an effort to put it on my food if it's in my refrigerator? Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Crazy. Okay.
I know.
So robots, AI, augmented reality, virtual reality. Pick one. What do you want to talk about?
So I've worked in I haven't done robotics, but I've worked in all of those spaces. Um, I do believe that augmented reality and virtual reality will blend as far as a at-home unit is concerned. I think that you'll have one unit that has a pass-through and a fully opaque option to give you your AR and VR. It's less accessible and less likely that someone's going to buy an augmented reality headset for entertainment. It's more reasonable that someone would purchase it for industrial reasons. So at this moment, I think that AR is definitely going to do well in industrial spaces for training and error prevention and planning purposes. And then, of course, VR is going to continue to kill it in the entertainment space. I definitely see, and I've said this for a few years, and it's actually happening, which is really exciting. Our empty American malls are going to turn into giant entertainment spaces, even more so than they currently are. And just big virtual reality, mixed reality play spaces for like laser tag and stuff. So we can live out our, Overwatch and TF2 fantasies.
So
I'm showing my age with TF2.
We'll really be able to get into the Jumanji game ourselves right in there in the studio. Not go to the movies. I always like movies though, but we would be able to jump right in there.
Yeah, I mean, I think we saw a lot of that with The Void, and I don't think that was as successful. I think that themed ones are going to have their own space. I don't know. Maybe they'll have different spaces. But the point is, yes, you'd be able to jump right into the game and play it.
Yeah. Or experience it, whatever. Yeah. But I mean,
yes, experience it. I forgot. That was the 2020 word of the year is the experience.
Yeah. Not just play it. So, thoughts about remote work, blended and on-site flexible work. What do you think? It's not going away. I'm pretty sure we're going to be keeping it kind of the same.
Yeah.
But I don't know if we'll be working as many hours.
Yeah. I think that, we've kind of proven that remote work is a viable option for a lot of workers. I think that a blended option is the best because we need to have some sort of grounded time with our team. We need to be able to see a little bit of face-to-face. But the way that I'm seeing my current work going is that we need to have more blended online and in-office opportunities where you have people there person and you have people online because we're no longer in the same space. We have people all over the country.
Mm-hmm.
So, it just doesn't make sense for someone to travel to an office to get on Zoom and talk to people in another city. So, it's just the way that it is. And I don't think it's going to change anytime soon. And it's working. So there's no reason to change it. So there's a push to go back to the office and we'll see where that goes.
Do you go into an office?
I do. I do go to the downtown campus of Unity Technologies.
Where is that?
That is on Orange Avenue.
Okay, I did not know that. I'm gonna have to come visit you.
We would love that.
Yeah, over there, I'm in OMG Labs, but and have you been down? Did you come to our grand opening?
I didn't come to your grand opening. I'm sorry.
Okay.
And that's probably what month was that? Was that?
It was just last month, and you probably didn't get an invite because it was put out on kind of short notice. But I mean, it was planned. It was definitely planned. I would love for you to come down because one of the things that we did down there, just so you can, because you've been there, I set up art galleries in the hallway.
Aww.
So I made one hallway, the VR, the whole AR hallway. And then I made half of a hallway for member art, and then the other half is for the games, the game jams. And then there's a history hallway. So it has a different structure. I made more lounge areas so that people can have this great view of the lake. And yeah, so I would love for you to come down.
That sounds lovely.
And if you have a piece of artwork, we'll put it up in the member hallway. You'll be famous down there.
Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. That'll be fun.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we're coming back over here. Ethical dilemmas. What do you think the ethical dilemmas will come from having a world built around AR, VR?
I think accessibility is the biggest one, right? You're immediately removing certain people when you center different experiences around augmented reality and virtual reality. It excludes a large portion of people, whether it be a different tax bracket or it's they have
underserved communities. That's what we call it in nonprofits.
Yeah.
Underserved communities.
Yeah. And as well as differently abled people, they wouldn't be able to appreciate or experience those things the same way that others would be able to. I've seen some ethical dilemmas with virtual reality and the content that's being put out, but that's the same with all forms of media. You're gonna get that sort of ethical dilemma. I think but largely I think that AR and VR are here to help. My favorite part about virtual reality in particular is it's FDA approved for pain relief. And what else could you want for people who are pain sufferers that might be reliant on certain chemicals and things that that are hurting their bodies. So yeah, but that's the only ethical dilemma I see with AR VR.
I often think that Avatar, the movie Avatar, I found it really interesting because here's somebody that's in a wheelchair, right? And he goes inside of a chamber to be able to experience what it would be like to run and to move and things of that nature. What I also sat there, and totally able-bodied people, they do the same thing because you want to go experience something. Personally, I would not want to. So for me, I sit here and go, I feel like I have a fear of closed spaces. So I'm going, pretty much you're putting me in a coffin so that I can go and experience something that I would not normally probably experience. And I go, I don't know if that's enough of a incentive for me. And so for people that have a fear of closed spaces, and using the avatar model as the one way that VR is experienced, right? I go, I don't know. But in the Black Mirror series, they show that you can experience it in totally different ways. So there's this place where I think that you're absolutely right. It's going to be segmenting people that do not have resources, financial resources, to be able to try things that they wouldn't normally get to. I think it's also going to be something that people that have some type of disabilities or anxieties, falls in there, may not do it, or they may, because, if something happened, if there was a fire and they can't get out of the chamber, going, well, that would be a problem. And then I go to the Matrix. And there's so many ways of what the future could look like, right? Is part of that. We just don't know yet. But I think science fiction movies actually can, and TV shows will be one way that we can see the possibilities.
Yeah, you're right. And I've had to fight against that in my career, where someone it's like once you get into the realm of science fiction in your real life, like we have in the last few years, and then we've been doing it since the 90s, VR is nothing new. But as far as its popularity and people being aware of it, once people see things that they previously thought were science fiction, they go, oh, well, what else can we do? And you start getting asks just to push the developers, and you have to push back a little bit and be like, well, you can't exactly do that, Or, you hate to be the bearer of bad news, but they'll say like, well, what about this thing with that thing like I saw in this movie? And it's like, that would be really great. I'll try my best.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I had a lot of that. I still have a lot of that.
Yeah, very much so. It's hard to know what it would be like. Yeah. So in this side of what is the best mentoring advice that you would want to share with our listeners? Because we always use that as our last wrap-up question.
All right. I say that if you're going to be about it, be about it. And what does that mean? That means make sure that if you want to be in a career, have a certain job title, make sure that everybody knows that you want to be that guy.
Mm-hmm.
Very much fake it till you make it, but it's because if you're doing it, then you're doing it. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So if you're going to be about it, be about it. So, shape your whole life around this thing until you get the thing that you're going for. So that when people think about you, they think about the thing that you want to do. Or even better, when they think about the thing you want to do, they remember you and they call you and they say, hey, I remembered that you were doing this thing. I remember that you're into this thing. I'd really like to bring you on a project. I'm really grateful for the opportunities that I had with AstroCro Games because being about it and being out and talking at Indienomicon about my game and putting myself out there led to all the opportunities that I received. More often than not, someone remembered me from Indienomicon and brought me onto a team as a result. And I wouldn't be at Indienomicon showing something as a technical artist if it weren't for Brian Stabile and his company AstroCro Games. So I say it again, gotta be about it, be about it. And then of course, take care of yourself. It's very important to take care of your best asset. It's you. You
Mm-hmm.
You are irreplaceable. You are valued. You need to be treating yourself as the valuable asset that you are. So that means drinking your water, getting your sleep, and always putting yourself first. When it comes down to yourself or a project, remember that, that project deadline may go by, but, you're more important than, burning yourself out. I'm saying that. I'm not doing that. I am often the person that burns myself out to get something done. And I've been reprimanded many times for it. But I'm sharing that information with you because that's what everyone keeps telling me. So.
You know what? That's what they tell me too. And I do the very best I can to do that. On my calendar, it has, 11 o'clock till 5. That's when I'm supposed to go to sleep. And sometimes, like this week, I was up till 2:30 and I still had to get up at 5. So yeah, you tell ourselves that, right? We tell ourselves that.
Yeah, I'm getting better at it, I think.
Yeah,
Definitely.
me too. I feel that. Well, Caris, I want to tell you, thank you so much for being a guest on the show. I look forward to having some other conversations with you. Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you to our sponsor, Cat 5 Studios, and thank you to our video team, Gabe Laporte. Music is by Sophie Lloyd. Be sure to visit Employers for Change at www.e4c.tech to learn how you can create real diversity and inclusive culture while skilling your people for the future of work. Thank you for supporting the Intern Whisperer by subscribing to us on Podbean, our Employers for Change YouTube channel, or stream from your favorite podcast channel.